get the best results.
Okay.
Okay. Right, guys, hope everyone's well. Welcome to the podcast. I'm with my guy Aaron here.
Hello. Behind the scenes.
That's it, you can't see him, but trust me, he's here. He's a big character and he's got a lot to say, and I'm just glad to have him here with me. Today is about inspiring people. It's about sharing the journey. It's about talking about the real stuff that a lot of us know exists, but sometimes we like hide away from it, you know? Like our inner world, our voices, elevating our standards. You know, a lot of us are playing at the level of the average Joe, and for me, I've played on the fence for a long time in my life, and I feel like it's time for a lot of us to step off, you know? And for me personally, guys, I've been doing 88 days without a drop of alcohol or a drag of a cigarette, and bear in mind, at certain stages of my life, I've liked the drinking, bro. I've loved a good old tart and that. And
so what made you do that, first of all? What made you think, right, you know what, I'm going to try and do the 88 days or however long you're doing it for?
Well, I mean, it stems back to my dad, to be honest with you, because my old man was obviously an alcoholic. He passed away due to alcoholism, really. And I always knew I had that addictive gene within me, you know, and you can use it for good or you can use it for bad. It depends which way you want to direct your compass. So when he passed away, I felt like the spotlight was on me. I could no longer kind of get away with doing what I was doing, which was drinking heavily all over the weekend, going crazy. Things started to be taken away from me. When my dad passed away, every time I overindulged in drinking, smoking, partaking in drugs, things would be taken from me, and I started to notice it. And then as time grew, I was given some pretty big lessons from the universe, some pretty scary lessons, you know, whether you want to believe in higher powers, God, all them sort of things, but some pretty radical things. And then I was in Brazil, and I decided after a really crazy experience to go 6 months without alcohol or smoking. Now, it was easier to do it in that environment because...
Easier in Brazil?
Yeah, because obviously I weren't around all the old friends in all the old spots. Do you know what I mean? So it was easier because it was a new vibe, new energy. I'd say Brazil hasn't got nowhere near the same kind of drinking drug culture, at least where I was anyway, than where I am in England. Do you know what I mean? There's a distinct difference to the two places I was in. So I felt like that place was a nurturing environment for me to go on that journey. But the reason why I've done this 88 days is because I knew deep down, okay, you've done it in Brazil, but you ain't done it here, boy. Do you know what I mean? Let's see what you really made of.
That weren't really a test.
But it was a big test, but it was like, this is real now. Do you know what I mean? If I can step up to the plate and answer my higher powers calling here, which is to stop drifting with alcohol and with partying on the weekend, and have a sustained period of time where I'm clear-minded, focused, I can do some great things like with the community, with growing businesses, and just inspiring people.
Do you think that, you know, with all the bad that's come with 2020, that's helped you focus as well, being able to find your kind of... Not that you didn't know what your purpose was before, but there's more distractions, there's more roadblocks, there's more mountains you got to climb, ain't there?
Yeah. I feel like this situation with the lockdown has squeezed everyone into a predicament. You know, like there's no longer 101 things you can go and do to distract yourself. The spotlight is firmly on you, and it's basically you're either going to go one way, you're either going to go and elevate your game, you know, and start working on growing yourself, evolving your energy, evolving your mind, your body, your everything, do you know what I mean? Or you're going to go completely west. Do you know what I mean? This is the excuse that you needed to go and get hammered every day and just literally just go crazy, do you know what I mean? I always sort of knew, like, after all these experiences I had a couple of years ago, that this life ain't free. You have responsibility as a human being here. I mean, the fact that you have to go to the toilet, the fact that you have to put your clothes on, you have to go to sleep, you have to put food in your mouth, you have to put water in your belly, all these things. There's a guaranteed responsibility as soon as you partake in this human experience, and I knew that it was much higher than that. And the higher you want to go in life, the more responsibility you need to adhere to.
Okay.
So if I look at sort of the people that I'm inspired by, your Tony Robbins is, who else would I say? Dr. Dre, your Jay-Z's, people like that. Yeah? Successful people who are doing lots of things for communities, you know. These people have huge amount of responsibility. They can't just go AWOL whenever they want. Do you know what I mean? They've stepped up to the plate. And I feel like the higher you want to go up this pyramid, which I believe humanity is, the more responsibility you have to adhere to, you know?
Yeah. It's like, you know, it's responsibility. It's just taking care of the things that need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Rather than just doing everything that you want to do, man. Sometimes there's sacrifice, and it's learning them sacrifices. They're not like big losses. They're just different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like you've gone ham, though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the sports centre in your house, that's just like the start of the vision. I know you've got big plans for that.
Yeah.
So to see you start doing it, I mean, talk a little bit, take us through a bit of that.
Yeah, so I had a taste of training the kids in a favela in Brazil, and I love that. And I remember about 3 years ago, I was like writing down on my dream board what I wanted. I thought, I'm going to get a house, I'm going to have a big conservatory and a big garden so I can train these kids. Do you know what I mean? Because the youth's where it's at, that's the future. And I thought, I drew this picture and it's crazy. I had my house by my mum, and literally like 2-3 years down the line, situations occurred and happened, and I felt, and it all came true. And now it's actually in process now. Today I've trained like 7 kids, ranging from the age of 8 to like 16. I've got 3 boys that are at football academies, 1 or 2 that we're talking big things, bruv. I'm talking one boy like Chelsea won him, Wolves are putting in money for him. He's a next level. He's the next level. Yeah, I won't mention his name because he's young. Do you know what I mean? But he's a serious competitor. The attitude he's got, the stamina, the energy, the focus at 8 years old is outrageous.
How does that, like, obviously they're buzzing, they're loving it, but what do you think that's doing for your mental health and stuff? Is that like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Training these kids and saying, yo, like, this is a purpose, it's not...
Yeah. 100%. I think I always used to look back and think like, why did I play for Aston Villa from like 10 years old all the way through to the reserve team and nothing come of it? Like, never made it. Obviously it's from my own fault, you know what I mean? But what was that all about? And I'm just starting to see God's plan now. You know what I mean? I'm starting to see that, right, you're going to take some of these exceptional youngsters through the journey of being like sort of a young kid's star through to like youth team up to reserve team, and obviously like hopefully they're playing the Prem. Do you know what I mean? But the whole is about being a guide for a minute and someone they can relate to, because a lot of the coaches, like no disrespect, but a lot of them are outdated, old, out of shape. They ain't got the lingo, they ain't got the banter, they ain't coming with the energy. Do you know what I mean? So it's like these young kids, they thrive off the energy. So like, and when you're kind of like, you got the bit of banter with them, they love it. So it's like, I feel like that's the
You're
purpose.
relatable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can like empathise, so it's sincere, and it's sincere, the relationship between you and them. Like, you can see it because you can see kind of yourself in them, innit?
Yeah.
At the same point, that's it, and you're thinking, you know what, forgive Liz a little guidance.
It's amazing. I mean, like the one kid I told you is shit at. He just comes in. It's just like watching an even more evolved version of myself as a kid, and it's just a blessing watching him train. And he's like a sponge. Everything you teach him, he just absorbs it. And
the thing is as well, sorry, you're not just a football coach. You know, you're a fully qualified PT.
Yeah.
As well. So you've got the football coach, you know, but you've also got the other side.
Yeah. That's it. And I think that comes into play when you're trying to design an amazing rig body for the player. Do you know what I mean? So A lot of the players.
Is that just as important to you? So when you're doing your coaching, do you say to them like, you know, what you want to do is you want to do so much with the ball.
Yeah.
You need to like research games, but you also need to work on your body in the gym and.
Well, yeah, they're basically doing that with me. So they're at their academies doing all the football stuff, but I'm working on their core strength, which is basically what helps them hold off players. I'm working on their leg strength. Do you know what I mean? To make them fast twitch fibres better, stronger. So they're basically getting strength and condition training by me at like 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old. Do you know what I mean? So it's like they're getting the football coaching they would already get, but then the elite level training that they would get if they was signed pro at a Premiership club at a young age. So it's like you add what I'm doing with them along with what the academies are doing with them, and you're going to get like this supreme player coming through. Do you know what I mean? Basically, I'm almost like, I ain't jealous, but I'm half like, whoa, imagine if I was like 8, 9 back in the day getting trained like this.
Outside.
Yeah, because I never even had a taste of that training until I was like 15 maybe. Once I started moving up into the under-18s, like started getting taken out of school and going in with the big boys.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's when I first started like doing weight sessions and kind of like learning about strengthening the body and losing body fat and your diet and nutrition and all that. Before it was just who's good on the ball. But these days footballers are athletes, man, first.
Yeah, definitely. So that being said, do you ever talk to the people you're coaching about, I know you're not a psychologist, but kind of like the mental toughness that you have to have in that game?
100%. Yeah, so basically the meditation for me, I just keep banging on it to everyone. It's almost like it's been going on for 1,000 years, meditation, but I feel like in our culture, especially England, it's starting to come to the forefront. It's starting to move into society, and it's just getting people to accept it as day-to-day routine as much as exercise. For me, it's more important than exercise. That's the level it is. If you can control your mind, you control your life. You know what I mean? There's no point having a great body if your mind's all over the place. Do you know what I mean? So by stilling the mind, by inflicting discipline upon it and breathing right, you can control many situations. Do you know what I mean? That are within your control. And then by having a still mind, the anxiety goes, the levels of fear, unfounded fear, like fear that's illusionary fear, is taken away from deep meditation once you get really good at it. So it's like all these young players. I did a meditation with one lad I got who's really good. He's on trials with like Cheltenham and Shrewsbury at the moment. He's 15, and we meditated and prayed before his exit trials last week. Like we got there together and I like put a blessing on him. Do you know what I mean? Just tried to speak deep into his subconscious once his mind was switched off and talking. You know what the monkey mind's like, me. Once I got that switched off, about 15 minutes in, then I start sending him messages, man. He's a king, he's a champion. When you get the ball, you're going to twist, turn, you're going to find the player. Every time when you shoot, you're going only for the goal. Do you know what I mean? Putting it all into him, blending it into him. And he said to me, as soon as he finished, he was like, whoa, man, my whole body felt like I was like elevated in some way. Do you know what I mean? And then he said when he played the game, there was like a constant narrator in the back of his mind that was like strong and powerful and sure of itself. And I know that that's a truth because when I was about 20, my mum sent me to see this old lady in Malvern Hills for like drink and drug abuse. Okay. Right? Basically, she was meant to be curing me. But really, I never really had a drink and drug problem major. It was more that I just didn't believe in myself after I failed at football. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So I was just acting out.
It was a crutch. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't like, yeah.
So like I was just had low self-worth.
Yeah, you was young, going out partying, escapism.
And my mum sent me to this old lady and I'm like, no disrespect, mum, but what is this 80-year-old lady going to do? And boy, was I wrong, man, because basically she got me into a deep state. She put all these perfumes and stuff, had me lay on the bed, put this like kind of beautiful vibrational music, soothing music on, and she started speaking to me while I was like half asleep. And I promise you, mate, like it didn't stop me doing the drink and the drugs like of going forward. I mean, but I tell you what it did do, it made me believe in myself. Every time I started to doubt myself, where I would give up, there was some voice that she programmed into me that was kind of like a roaring lion. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of basically saying you can do it. It was only talking the positive things of the situation. She instilled that into me. She was a gifted woman. Do you know what I mean? And I realised that we can do that if we learn the game. The mind game.
It's like counselling, isn't it? Therapy.
Yeah.
That's why therapy. Well, I think therapy and counselling are so good. It's the same kind of thing. It's kind of installing someone to not always doubt their own decisions, which is what happens a lot of the time, and that can get you quite in a weird space. You know, like if you doubt your own decisions.
Yeah. Procrastinate and kind of there's a feeling of undeservingness within a lot of people. There's a lot of fear within many people, and basically like the more successful you are, the more focused that inner narrator is. It's always it's seeing what the good outcomes of every situation can be, and even if something bad happens, it's always saying, well, that was a lesson to learn from, to move forward. Like basically what I'm trying to say is everyone needs to reprogram their mind in whichever way they can and know how, or seek help to get a positive narrator within inside their mind. That makes sense. So I'm training some kids at the moment, and like when they do something wrong, they like lose their head and they're like, I'm shit, I'm this and I'm that. I'm like, whoa, come here a minute. You're amazing, bro. Do you hear me? Like literally just, they're like, do you know what I mean? So, but that's what they should be saying to themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, that should be the inner narrator voice inside them. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like many people don't believe in themselves enough.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. I think, well, let's take for instance, I think it's kind of drilled into people at school a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's because to a point where, you know, when you're kids, it's like, what do you want to be? I want to be an astronaut. I want to be, you know what I mean? I want to be a dancer. I want to be a footballer. I want to be a rock star. When you get into school, and it's like, yeah, but you know, the chances of you doing that are next to nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So as soon as you're in that environment where they want you just to be like, I don't want to say sheep, because education's good.
Yeah, gives you the basics, yeah.
Yeah, but when you step on people's dreams to do it, it becomes bad.
We're playing the wrong game. We're all playing us against the world. It's never been that. It's you versus you. The children need to have that instilled in them from a young age. The idea that they're in competition with anyone else, really, in the grand scale of the game that we're in, is silly, you know? Because there's always someone bigger, there's always someone stronger, there's always someone better. And if you have a mentality that, well, if I'm not the best, I might not as well do it, then you are messed up for life. You know what I mean? You've just got to be better than you were yesterday. And you've got to basically keep a log and a way of referencing back as to where you were and how far you've come, and use that as your fuel. Just block out everyone else. Everyone else is just basically in the stadium either clapping or booing for you. There's no one else there. Do you know what I mean? And like, that's something I had to wake up to from after football. Obviously being in football is a competitive game. It was, are you better than him? You're going to get a contract, these and that. It's a ruthless sport like that. Do you know what I mean? So many kids' dreams shattered, like mine were. But I learned the best way to overcome that and be the best version of yourself is just to play the you versus you game.
Takes a long time to learn that though, don't it?
Yeah, well, hopefully now you might be a bit quicker if you're listening.
True. I don't know if they do have that sort of stuff at clubs and things, like psychologists, and I don't really know, I'm not in.
But they don't. I don't even think that the football clubs have woken up to it. Maybe at the top level. I mean, I suppose I'd imagine the Man City players, and a lot of them know that it's not really them against other players. I imagine they know the elite level, what I know, which is it's you versus you. Yeah. And if you're getting faster, you're getting stronger, you're getting more skillful, it's inevitable that you're going to play in that team and you're going to do well. Do you know what I mean? It's also as well, it's like if we look at it spiritually, if you are envious over another player, if you are plotting against this person's demise, do you know what I mean? Because it's a terrible way to live your life.
100%.
Terrible. spiritual suicide.
100%, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I just don't believe
it's like
that's
crabs in a barrel mentality, isn't it?
Yeah. And I listen to Ronaldo, and obviously Messi and Ronaldo saga has been going on for
Think about
decades.
it, I bet between them two there isn't even a saga.
No, there isn't. That's what I was about to say. I believe Ronaldo just plays against himself, and Messi just seems to be around, and then people talk about him. But I think Ronaldo is that absorbed in his own game. Do you know what I mean? And being the best version of himself, and I believe Messi is as well. I think them two are very gifted athletes, mentally, spiritually, energetically, and obviously on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? I think they're evolved beings. Do you know what I mean? You don't get to their level without being instinctively smart as to what you're in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they've got the right temperament for this.
So do you think they've always known that? Like, do you think they had a vision from... Do you think when they started playing football, thought, I just want to make it? Or do you think, I want to be the best?
I think they're definitely both were phenomenal players, God-given from very young ages, and they were probably always told that they could go on to great things. I think being an average player was never ever even in their mindset. I think it was to be great, because they were at that level even very young. So they would have set their heights very, very high. And I always say as well, if you aim for the stars and you hit the moon, you're still happy, ain't you? You need to put it's weird, it's almost like we're scared to like say those big dreams out loud. Do you know what I mean? They scare us.
Well, what did yours? I want to talk a bit about, midfield. Where did that dream come from? Like, what's the?
So it came from.
And where's it going?
So it's a good question though. Like, I'm trying to work that out now. I'm on the notepad and pen all the time. I'm just like growing organically with it at the moment. But the fact that all these young little superstars have started coming into the game, I'm like, well, I'm playing. Something else is helping me here. Do you know what I mean? So I need to start focusing on this. So I believe where I see it is I'm going to keep investing in the business, keep buying better equipment, keep improving my knowledge, go to like coaching schools and then keep studying on YouTube and everything like that. And then I believe that within about 2 to 3 years, I'll have the best young players in the academies in the West Midlands area training with me one-to-one outside of their clubs. So, and I'll also be known by the clubs to kind of be that outlet if a player needs to work on his shooting, if a player needs to work on his quick feet, whatnot. Because for me, it was never my ability, it was never in question, even at a high level. Do you know what I mean? So I know what to do there, and obviously I feel like that's what I want to do with that. And also as well, just normal kids as well, like, do you know what I mean? Like, to enjoy their football. Like, honestly, it's probably one of the best childhoods you can ever have, being brought up in football. Do you know what I mean? And like, I grew up with my mates and that, like, and I'm still friends with them today, and I'm training a lot of their kids. Do you know what I mean? It's like the jokes and the laughs we had about when we used to play when we were 10, 11, 12, it's like unbelievable. And whether you play at a high level or whether you just play Sunday League, it's so important to be involved in that team sports. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, with regards to that, so I see that growing towards is to be like a football coach for the young elite.
Yeah. So work on work with academies and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that's where that's gonna go. And then what else is there? So yeah, talking about, obviously what I wanted to say to the people today as well was trying to, like, obviously we're talking about football and we're talking about athletes. I believe that, like, we should all be kind of athletes in our day-to-day life. Have you ever heard about the 5 a.m. routine, the 5 a.m. club?
No.
And there's basically like this 5 a.m. club that like all the billionaires and the kind of the elite all do, which is basically like in the morning, as soon as you wake up, you do 2 hours of personal development before you go to work, before you start your day. It puts you in a high vibration, empowered state. You've done everything that you need to do before you even go to work, and you're much more capable during the day because of it.
Okay.
So there's a few little rituals, a common theme that they all seem to do. So for example, they'll wake up, some of them will have a freezing cold shower, or like jump in a freezing cold plunge pool. Some of them will go for like a 5k run. Then they'll meditate.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of them are fasting for the entire morning.
Yeah, intermittent fasting.
Intermittent fasting. A lot of them are reading books in that time. Do you know what I mean? To improve their self-knowledge on their desired outcome of future, whatnot. So for example, if they wanted to have their own media company, they're reading a book by the best media guy and how to grow their business. Do you know what I mean? Things like that. So they're doing self-improvement in the morning. And other people are journaling, writing down stuff. But basically there's this 2 hours that what I look at the elite seem to do, which the average person in society doesn't do, which is dedicate 2 hours to kind of watering their plant, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? And this just helps them grow further and further towards their highest calling. Do you know what I mean? And their most desired self. For example, if you look at it this way, you get someone that wakes up at 5 a.m, inflicts discipline upon their mind, doing all these rituals day in, day out for 2 hours every single day.
Mm-hmm.
They grow mentally, physically, spiritually in all these ways, as opposed to someone who's waking up at 7 a.m, got to be out of the house by 7:30, wiping sleep out their eyes, do you know what I mean? Kind of like just stopped at Starbucks, got a massive coffee, hasn't even planned anything. Then they had planned to go to the gym on the night time, but they had a really bad day at work. They were completely in effect.
Yeah.
Everything was affected. It's an unempowered state. So basically, what I'm trying to say is not to have a go at anyone.
It's very reactive.
Yeah, Whereas
not
you
proactive.
Proactive, yeah. And you wanna be able to control your state. Do you know what I mean? You need to be able to control the outcome for you as much as possible, and to, I believe, do this morning routine is definitely beneficial to that.
Do you think it's more beneficial than the meditation? Or is that part of the meditation?
It's part of it. So it's what I'm doing personally, I'm waking up at 6, and I've been for like a year or two now, and I'm doing a 5k run, come rain, so sleet. I mean, you've seen me at -3 degrees and you're at 6 running through the pitch black country roads like I'm ready.
Yeah.
And then I come back, shower, and then go downstairs, I put like some nice music off YouTube, like a meditation music, a sound that I like, therapeutic sound, and then I meditate. And I do a few different meditations. So I'll either do one where I just completely blank my mind, where it's just emptiness, and I just love being thoughtless.
Yeah.
Complete empty vessel. It's beautiful. Let that light come into me, feel that energy. There's other ones where I'm visualizing. So I get myself in a state and I'll visualize images, pictures, situations of future outcomes. Do you know what I mean? Do that. I'll also pray sometimes, pray for people, pray for the world. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like putting that good intention out to the world helps it heal, you know, like energy-wise. In a quantum world that we're all starting to wake up to now, that is 100% possible fact, basically. Do you know what I mean? So like, thoughts have power.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Energy exists. It's like,
you know, we me and you talk a lot about, you know, energy and your mind and control. How much like work do you do? Because I know you're big on this. So how much do you nutritionally? Is that a big part of feeling right mentally and physically?
Yeah, 100%. So stomach health seems to be a major one which I'm picking up on, in the sense that a lot of us have very acidic bodies. And when you have an acidic body, you've got bellyache, you're more susceptible to disease and bad health when you've got an acidic body. To try and make your body more alkaline is good. I believe the intermittent fasting is quite good for that. It helps clear your system out, because you're not constantly putting food and drink into your body 24/7. Life force energy is something that I've picked up in my mushroom meditations when I've like done psychedelics and that. They seem to all be telling me that to eat energy food that's alive, so from the earth, seems to be the best way. So for example, eating like broccoli, brown rice, sort of like your healthy grains and sort of things like that is better than eating dead energy, which would be like a microwave packet curry. Do you know what I mean? So there's energy that is high frequency. Do you know what I mean? If we're looking at a quantum level, right? And then there's energy that's dead. Do you know what I mean? and the more good energy that you put into your body, the higher your vibration is, the better you feel. There's a lot of stress that comes from the stomach, anxiety that comes from the stomach. So if you're constantly drinking caffeine, you're constantly eating like terrible food, dead food for you, you're not going to be as lit up as if you were doing a really healthy, organic diet.
Yeah.
So these are not the be all and end all. I believe the biggest thing is faith, personally. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's for me the biggest thing, but that's my own thing. But yeah, these all help, and the more that you do, the better chance you're giving yourself.
Okay. You touched on faith.
Mm.
So far, I mean, it's like being a well-rounded character, isn't it? You know, like you say, you've got to look after your body, you've got to look after your mind.
Mm.
You know. So where does your faith come into that?
So I mean, there's been times when I haven't looked after my mind and I haven't looked after my body, and I've been on death's door, and faith in something at the time I didn't know what got me through some of the darkest places, man.
Mm.
Really dark places, and I believe that on the other end of our fear is faith. You know what I mean? It's faith over fear, basically. Do you know what I mean? You've got it's duality, light or dark, faith or fear. You take your pick. In the end, do you know what I mean? And one day, I just fully jumped into faith, and it's been building a relationship with me ever since, to the point where supernatural things happen on a daily basis.
So you get signs, do you think?
Yeah, signs. It's like people could say they're guides, people could say they're God, people could say many things of what they are. They're all basically the same thing. But they're breadcrumbs, I would say, from the universe to tell you that you're on the right path and that we got this. You know what I mean? You hold up the end of your bargain, you look after your body, you look after your mind, and we are going to put you on gas, boy. Do you know what I mean? Girl. I mean, if you don't, then you'll be disconnected until you do.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, bro.
But yeah, man, it's a beautiful world out there, man. I think like everything's starting to get better as well within the community and within like this country as well. I feel like we're coming out of the tunnel now.
Do you think? Can you feel it?
I don't know if it's completely going to be over. I have my reservations with that. I still think them.
I don't think it'll be completely over. I don't think it'll be completely over. One, because
They've gone
how could it be?
They've gone too far with it already.
Yeah, I think, they've already extended furlough again. Things will start to open, but they're already expecting for a big hit in the winter, because not everyone would have been vaccinated. I think for it to actually work, the whole world's got to be vaccinated.
There's no way I'm getting a vaccine, no, man.
And that's it. So it's not going to be over. I think they'll let everyone out for the summer. And then when winter starts and the cases start picking back up and it's flu season, you might get another lockdown. Or there'll be restrictions. There won't be a lockdown, but the tight restrictions will come back.
You've nailed it, you have, and I totally agree with it. My intuition tells me that we get let out around June, properly, and then they whack us back in as soon as the weather changes and the natural flu would occur. They're going to do the lockdown again. It's in someone or some people's interest for me. I'm a big conspiracy theorist, you know that. I make no lies about that.
What does the thing is, as soon as you use the term conspiracy theorist, it kind of sounds...
I don't think it's conspiracy. I think I'm just a truthist, but like obviously that's what I say, and I'm going against the media, ain't I? So like obviously I'm a conspiracy theorist to the average person.
As soon as people label you that, it's kind of like, oh no, they're a bit crazy. When it's not that, it's just no. I think there's a difference between being a theorist and me. I just say, can it happen? Can it happen?
Yes.
Yeah, it can. So then it's a possibility.
Yeah. So that's 100%.
So
It's not completely like out there crazy like Narnia, Witch of the West stuff. Like it is pretty that you could blag the COVID-19 flu instead of the normal flu. But it's a strange one. I just feel like we'll get the summer, and then they're gonna try and bang us back in. I'm planning to get out of this country by then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What holiday or out?
About 3 months, just 3 months.
Okay.
Basically.
Brazil.
Yeah. I want to write a book, and I feel like I need to be in almost isolation in an inspiring place, without any work or anything. So I'm basically saving money to take over to Brazil. I'm gonna get an apartment set up. I'm gonna get a car ready for me when I get there, and then I'm literally just gonna bring my laptop and I'm just gonna write this book. Do you know what I mean?
Sick.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, man.
Yeah,
and I feel like do that for 3 months, and hopefully then when I've got a body of work down, then try and get it on Amazon or try and do something
Like
like
just
that.
self-publish it, innit?
Yeah.
Do that. My dad did that. My dad wrote a book.
But how long does it take him to do that?
I don't know, you know. Can't tell you.
So I reckon 3 months is like he's pushing it.
Well, I've
especially for that
tried to write books before, bro, loads, man, and I write a lot. Well, it's a different beast because it depends on what you're trying to write. Are you writing a memoir or are you writing a book with characters? Because if you're writing a book with characters, you ain't doing it in 3 months because the great thing about a book is, let's say when you're developing a character, you've got a character and his name's fucking David, yeah? But to know your character, you've got to know David, not only in his current context and what's going on in your book, but you got to know his parents, you got to know his grandparents. Has David got a brother? Because these things all build your character.
And the continuity there. You know, the
continuity of your character, because his choices will be made on his backstory. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not what it is, it's like, but let's say your character got, I don't know, sexually abused or something, but then
that affects his decisions within the book.
Exactly, do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like you've got to do the back characters. It's tough, bro.
Now this is going to be.
If it's a memoir to you,
it's going to be like an autobiography. But then at the end of every chapter, it's going to be what I learned or what I should have learned during that chapter. And I feel like, because for me, it's all about inspiring. Do you know what I mean? It's all about being the guinea pig. Do you know what I mean? For everyone else. Do you know what I mean? So I'm learning and failing and falling. And
you're like the first Indian over the hill.
Yeah, that's basically what it is, man. Like I just want to just go to uncharted territory. Basically, you know, like they used to talk about the 4-minute mile. They said the man would never beat it. Science said no man could ever run a mile under 4 minutes. And then once one person did, within about 5 years, something like a couple hundred did. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's the same with the human mind. And I want to be one of them pioneering people, those psychonauts, to go that level. Do you know what I mean? Like you see Wim Hof, the guy, the Iceman, the one I always talk about. Like I say, like the things that he's doing. He's got like 30 world records for like being in ice and like crazy temperatures. And it's like the people on the other side of the world in Asia, they've been knowing about this power for a long time. It's just coming into Western culture, but he's like pioneering it here, and I want to be part of that to kind of like take the mind to higher levels, set the bar higher. Do you know what I mean?
I get it.
Because in turn, that's going to make for a better world, a happier life. If more people are in control of their mind and their decisions and their state, then we're going to have a much better world, innit? The problem with the world is people are not in control of their mind, their mental state. Hence the reason they do erratic, crazy things, sometimes violent things. Do you know what I mean? And have like negative outlooks on life, which kind of portray down to their families, everything like that. So it's about healing the world, but by healing the world, you must set the standard higher.
I like that stuff. That was nice. That was nice. That was
cool,
nice.
Man. Let's finish on that note then, bro.
Yeah, man. Listen,
that.
That was a good chat, my brother.
Appreciate
That was a good chat.
Sound.
So, just quickly though, where can everyone find you?
So if you go on Instagram, it's Morgs333, MORGZ 333, and the YouTube channel is God's Child. Yeah, God's Child on YouTube, and yeah, that's it. And hopefully, yeah, if you fancy any personal training and you're in the kind of Birmingham, Kidderminster kind of area, contact me. If you want online training and you want to be mentored with programs, nutrition programs, training programs, whatnot, then contact me. And my email address is Morgan Kaihn, K-A-I-G-H-N, Evans, E-V-A-N-S, @gmail.com. And that's it. Absolute plug.